Well, welcome to Papa Bear's Peppers, and I'm Harold. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my Nectar for the Gods, and in particular, I wanted to talk a little bit about how simple it can be with something like one shot or going into the mixes. And it's how much that you want to put into it, how much you want to push your grow. And so that's what we're talking about today. And also, I picked a little berry off of one of my plants. It just ripened quick, and so a little chocolate moruga. So we're gonna see what happens with that. But we'll start off by eating this pepper and getting that out of the way. So I've got my knife with me. This is a chocolate moruga, and obviously this is not what I'm looking for size wise, but it's the ones you want to get off your plant. In my opinion, I want to get the little ones off the plant. If they're not growing, if they're not getting as big as you want, get them off so that the plant is forced to grow more and get your bigger pods, which are your summer pods. So sometimes you're gonna get these, folks, and it is what it is, but we don't want them to go to waste. So that's why I've got my gloves on here. Pop it off. These little chocolate morugas, I grew them a few years back, and boy, they do get warm, and I ain't gonna play around. Now this one's small enough that it's already got my knife out, cut in half, and it may not be big, but it's all placenta. Whew, I'll tell you what, it's not gonna be any better on me being this little, because I know how hot these get. So that's my first pot of the year. Wash that down. It's getting warm already. Ooh. Indicative of those chocolate morugas. They got some kick to them, folks. So the heat's building on that one, but well, I gotta keep going, folks. Pretty warm, I'll tell you that. But a one shot. For those of you that are looking, and I'm gonna try and do this, folks. That was a hot little pepper. For those of you that are looking for something simplistic, you don't want to complicate it. There's a lot out there. The One Shot by Oregon's Only Nectar for the Gods. This is your all-in-one, folks. Slow release, amazing product. 2 tablespoons per gallon of soil. You can top dress what you already have, and you're gonna get everything you need out of this, folks. Your calcium, your bone meal, your like I said, worm castings, and this is what they call prilled. You use a molasses to prill it and to hold it all together. And they make it in small batches. They don't make it in big, huge batches. So it's very controlled when it goes together. Containing worm castings, ferrous sulfate, bone meal, fish bone meal, kelp extract, alfalfa meal, feather meal, kelp meal, soybean meal, and calcite, or your limestone. Whew. So it has just about everything you could ask for to provide for your plant. A lot of you find out really quick that NPK, there's Why you need nitrogen, why you need your phosphorus and potassium. It forgets about the big boss, which is your calcium. Hence you go out and you're gonna buy your CalMag to supplement to whatever you're using. Well, first of all, Nectar for the Gods is calcium based, and what it's going to provide is cell structure for your plant. Your plants are going to grow stronger, healthier, and not have that big starving need for calcium. As you can see back here by my monsters, they don't need that calcium as much. Now, this is a very simplistic mix, and here's my homemade mix right here. This particular mix, I have cocoa coir, Canadian peat sphagnum, vermiculite, and perlite, along with some worm castings, my own mix. But this is very closely resembled to what it is. Now, saying I'm roughly got 1.5 gallons of soil in here, so all I have to do, and this is what that looks like in the pellet form, and it's a very hard. Now this would be the equivalent of what you have in Gaia Mania. So you take one, I'll bring this up here so you can see. I'm going to go 1, 2 tablespoons, and about 1/2, and throw that in there. And that's all you need, and then you just mix it up. And here's the beauty of it, folks. Now I could turn around, plant my plant in here, and it would be fine. Or you do like what you've seen me do before, and I add a little bit more right at the bottom of the hole. But I tell you, it's such a fantastic product that you're not going to burn your plants. And I'll tell you what, let's go over and we'll top dress a plant, just to show you the versatility of just a simple one shot. And we'll come in here to the monsters. That's the beauty of using a organic product like Nectar for the Gods, is that, you know, I don't worry about burning my plants. I really don't. And I can take this, even though I'm going to be feeding it, and I'm just going to do a tablespoon right now at the base of this plant. I'm going to just put it in and around here. I'll turn you down a little bit. I'll put it around the base, just like that. And I'm going to stir it right in. And that's going to provide that base plant food for this plant, and it'll just keep leaching right into the soil and providing nutrients that the plants need to grow strong and vigorous. And I tell you, these plants have been just going great. Now, they normally go to my heavier feeding cycle, but I wanted to show you I'm not afraid to even put this on my plants the way they are, and I do it all the time. Now, Nectar for the Gods, when you use a one shot, you get 3 to 6 months worth of food to provide for your plants. And it depends on how hungry your plant is, whether it's going to go even more. But this nutrient right here gives it everything that it needs, from your rock dust all the way through to your worm castings. It gets it all, folks. That's why it's called one shot. A very simple and easy thing to use. You have an old soil and you want to amend it and make it, you know, bring life back to it. You put that in about 2 or 3 weeks before you're ready to use it, and boom, it's going to be rejuvenated. You can add your own amendments too, but this is a very organic, very natural thing. It's almost like adding a worm tea in a dry form right into your soil. And I tell you, folks, you will be happy with the results. You can go over there and you'll see people use Nectar for the Gods one shot and just have amazing results. And you know what? You could feed them. You feed it at the beginning of your grow, and then maybe in the middle of your grow, you just add some more. I don't have to have a CalMag. And it also builds up salts in your soil. Now, not to be confused with Epsom salts, where you can get a good dose of magnesium, you know, and still bring in your worm teas and your compost teas on top of that, and it's all going to organic. It's going to help build that food web in your soil to where your plants just thrive, and then you'll have plants that look just like these. So that is your Nectar for the Gods one shot. Well, how easy was that, folks? We were able to feed our plant, and I also made a soil mix in that short amount of time. The great part about it is you're dealing with an organic here. You're not going to have a problem with burning your plants, you know, so, but it's a great amendment. It's a great food for your plants. It's very simplistic. Now we move on, and we're going to go into what I like to do, and I like to push my grow. So now what I'm going to do is mix this in a real time as I would mix it during each feeding. I do have my feed chart, and I'm going to first put together the Spartan regimen, and then I'm going to move right into the Greek regimen and add them all together, just so you see how simple it can be. First thing, my Medusa's Magic, and I need 50 milliliters. I like the little quart bottles, makes it a little quicker, a little easier. Stir it. Gaiamania. Shake it. I'm going to go ahead and bring in 60 milliliters on this one. I'm right in between full on veg and the at a lower level. Stir it. And that's the thing, is you can adapt this schedule as to what you need. Okay, got those in. Herculean Harvest. Stir it. Zeus juice. Remember to shake that Herculean Harvest really well. Zeus juice, 25 milliliters. That brings in your humic acids, your kelp. At this point, I'm done with Spartan, and I would pH it up with my Olympus up. That's your Spartan. Now moving on to the Greek. That's all mixed. I just flip over. Folks, I use this just like anybody can use it, and these are charts. They're meant to be used, so you don't have to think about it. Okay, I'm going to come in with my Athena's Aminos next. $50 milliliters. Oops, shake it. Always shake. Amino acids. Building blocks for your plants. If that looks really white and milky like milk, it's the proteins and everything that is extracted from milk too. There we go. 50 milliliters of Athena's Aminas. Dementor's Destiny. Stir it. And yeah, it's like, why are you making two? I have a lot of plants to feed, folks. That's why I buy in gallons. So we're going to go ahead and bring in our Dementor's Destiny. This is always a low one because it's a driver and it's liquid calcium. You can go up to 10 milliliters, but we're just going to go ahead and bring in, you'll go in the middle and we'll go 30 milliliters. That's in between the 15 and the 10 that you could go. Do that. The Zeus juice has already been done. So we're going to bring in the Aphrodite's extraction, carbon. Always only fill it. You can go up to 10 milliliters, but we're only doing 5 milliliters. Coffee. I stir that up. I'm ready to Olympus up. I could put BK in, but I just choose not to. I'll save it for my foliar. Okay. Pull out my pH meter. Turn it on. Dropping right down into that 5.6, 5.5, 5.8. This one actually dropped down to 5.50, so I'm going to clean it with my distilled water. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Put the lid back. Well, now we're going to bring in our Olympus up. And remember, I'm just going to give it about a tablespoon at a time. Again, I don't think I shook that as much as I want to. I want to shake it some more. I'm just going to set that down right here. It's climbing. Now I would say is about a teaspoon, maybe just a little bit more than between a teaspoon and a tablespoon. And that was perfect, folks. That put me right at 6.40, 6.41, right in there. It's exactly where I wanted this one to be. So I'm good with that. I'm going to clean off my pH meter now. Again, folks, when you're done with your pH meter, go ahead and clean it off. Just like this, and just swirl it in there, get it nice and clean. Shake it, put your lid back on, and put it away. Take care of these pH meters. You don't want erroneous readings when you're doing this, whether super high or super low. Well, there you go, folks. That's mixing it from beginning to end, and this is ready to go, folks. It's really a simple process. Once you get used to it, it's such a simple process, and you're giving your plants so much. Now, the last thing I'm going to do, everything's pH. This is my SLF 100, and again, you do this, you can do it every time or you can do it every other time. It's really what you can afford, because the SLF isn't, I'll tell you right now, it's not cheap, but it's so effective. And it's like, it's that link that helps your nutrients really drive. You may ask why I do it. Because I want to give my pepper plants the best that I can. This is the best that I can give them, folks. I don't ever worry about calcium deficiencies or really any other nutrient deficiency. If I ever notice that maybe I'm getting some kind of, and you know, most of your magnesium's already in your soil, and if I ever need it, I always go back to my Epsom salts for my magnesium deficiencies if I feel like I need it. But truthfully, folks, I just don't have deficiencies with this. And I build up my plants' immunity to so many different conditions. You know, they're very flexible and they're very tolerant to heat. They're very tolerant to cold. And that's attributed to building a very strong soil web in which they feed off. And then that in turn builds strong, solid roots. And then in turn builds cell wall structure in your plants that you can't get from a lot of the nutrients that are out there that are not designed to build them with a calcium based nutrient line like this. Well, there you go, folks. Anywhere from a standalone, something like one shot, all the way up to using a regimen such as Spartan or Greek regimen, and then adding into it the SLF 100, which will just enhance all of your growing. This is an enzyme-based product and it works great and really marries well with your Nectar for the Gods product. Remember, when you are applying Nectar for the Gods, you want to make sure you pH. Make sure that you get that pH up around 6.2 to 6, even up to 6.8. It'll really enhance, because a lot of the products are made to react to that upper pH. Well, this is Harold with Papa Bear's Peppers, and hopefully this helps you with your feeding regimens, and we'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day and keep growing.